Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Jaycation podcast. Today we'll be talking about how we started our blog, the Jaycation blog, and the first 2 days of our December 2020 Black Hills adventure. All right, hello and welcome to the show. I am Jacob, and this is my wonderful co-star.
It's Jane.
Yes, that's right.
Awkward. Sorry.
It's okay.
Weird.
Well, this is very much a garage operation that we
Did you
have
call me a
going on here.
co-star? I think I'm really just a co-host, but you know.
Well, I don't know. It's starring us. I mean, we can be stars and hosts. How about that?
Okay.
It's a 2-in-1 deal.
All right, that's fair.
Okay, so
I'll try to ramp it up. I'm sorry.
Since this is our inaugural episode, let's talk about how Jaycation started. So this got started in July of 2020, and it was right after our 2020 big 7 national park trip.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we know a lot. I've been to 35 states alone, and Mom, you've been to close to 40.
Probably, yeah.
Like a few more. So it's like, well, why don't we, put our knowledge to good use and share it? People ask us for vacation advice. And so it's just like, well, let's put it all in one place. And, we love to talk about travel and plan trips and do that. So we decided to put a blog together.
No, I think you decided. You decided.
And I said, we're going to do this.
And I'm like, all right.
Okay.
Yeah. Jacob is, I love it. It's fun, but Jacob is really like the heart and soul of this. It's his idea. He does most of the writing. I mean, we use a lot of my pictures just because I have a better camera.
Yes.
But you do most of the writing. Like, I thought I'd be very involved in this, and I would like to be. I just, usually when I come home and I'm like, okay, I don't need to do this right now. So, but that doesn't mean I don't love it all the same. And I've always loved to travel, and I'm so glad that Jacob has also loves to travel and loves to plan. And I've always been a planner of stuff, and I've gotten him involved in that a little bit more, which has been super helpful. Although scary, because he's
I drag you all over the earth.
Yeah, you really do. So anyway,
I'll try to be more tame the next time.
That's okay. I know. I mean, we do great things. It's just sometimes I'm old, or every day I'm old. But anyway, I think we just got sidetracked up there. That's my fault. But go on with talking about what you do.
So we have our blog. It's www.jaycation.club. That .club, it was like a cheap domain I could find. So I'm like,
yeah, we're all about the cheap domains.
That's right. We have Instagram. You can follow us at Jaycation Travel, and no. It's at Jaycation_adventure. Our Twitter is at Jaycation Travel. We don't have a Facebook. I don't really.
Yeah, Jacob's not down with the Facebook.
I'm not really down. That's right. I'm not down with the Facebook, so we just don't have one.
That's okay, because I'd have to manage that, and then we all know what would happen there.
And so on the Instagram, I'm pretty active on that. Post pictures every day from different places. That's a fun thing that we do. On Twitter, I like to post every day. I've been better about that lately. For a while, I just didn't do anything. And that's where you'll see articles. If I put a new article up on the blog, then it'll go up there with the link to it. So be sure to check it out. Yeah, it's a great place to just,
if you're looking to go somewhere and especially national park, any kind of national park travel. And, you know, we're just kind of getting started on that, but we have
not
some
to
other
say, I mean,
information.
of course we know other things too.
Right. We do. We're
cities and, you know,
yeah,
there's a cities tab on there, you know, if you're just looking for that kind of stuff. We've got hotel reviews. So if you're looking for hotels or VRBO, you know, Mom is an expert on VRBO. I don't really know much about it. Yeah.
I don't think I've been steered wrong there at all. But
that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Just to get into that, because you could really get going on that. You know a lot. So
yeah, it's very time consuming, but that's something that I enjoy like looking at. So
yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, Jaycation was Jacob's idea, and it's turned out to be kind of a fun little activity.
It is, and this is our next step, basically, is having a little podcast that, you know, we get to talk about travel instead of write about it.
Yeah, so Jacob's been talking about having a podcast for a while now, and I'm like, I don't know about this. So
how's it going so far?
It's okay, but I will admit that I feel really weird, and then I know that if I hear my voice, I'll even feel more weird about it. But
well, you know what? You're not the one who has to edit this and listen to all. You know, and I don't like to hear myself talk either, but I'm going to have to listen to like an hour of me talking. So, boy.
So, yeah, fun
could
for
be
you.
Worse.
I guess. So it'll be fun, and excuse me. So far, I mean, this is just our just the beginning, but I think it'll be something cool for us to do.
Something fun to do.
Yeah. So we're kind of we're dorks, and we enjoy being dorks together. So
that's right.
Something.
And I mean, we talk about our trips anyway. So it's just like, now we just have mics.
Right.
So all right. Well, let's get into our trip. Okay, so let's talk about this trip.
Sure.
How did it come about? It was pretty. No, go ahead.
Well, it was very, very impromptu, considering all the other planning that we usually do for the rest of our stuff.
Right, and this was like 3 weeks before we left, wasn't it?
Maybe even 2. I know it wasn't very long. I mean, just a really, really short time, considering how we run the rest of our.
That's right, because the 2020 vacation, I was planning in January what we were going to do. So
right,
and we were getting it all figured out.
Yeah, I guess just because it was like, well, you know, you wanted to go visit this college,
right? We had a 3-day weekend, and
we had a 3-day weekend. We looked ahead. The weather looked good.
Right.
Because when you're going to South Dakota in December, you know,
it
you never
can
know
be
what
a
you're
little
going to
sketchy, right?
Right. So it was like, all right, we've got this. We want to go before spring, because once spring rolls around, you need to be making some decisions. So
right. So this was the best time to do it.
Yeah, it was one of those like, hey, we have the time. You were finished with school. I could get off work. Dad didn't have to go to work. So we just made it happen.
That's right. And so then we got started on our planning, which is, well, you and I both love to do it. That's our favorite thing. So I'm just going to
I'm not happy unless I have a place to go that I know about.
Right. And so I'm just going to kind of walk through the planning process. So you usually book our hotels. That's the first thing. And do you want to kind of talk about the hotels that you went through?
I always try to use, we have Hilton points, and we have Choice Hotel points. So I always try, I have more Hilton points than anything. So it's just kind of like looking to see what's available, where I can get the most bang for my buck as far as points go.
Right.
And I don't know, I have this like, I can't even explain it now, but like this made up system that I have about what it's worth to spend on the points, I don't know. It's just some long involving process that I really don't have any straight numbers for it. I just kind of look at it and make it up and like, oh, that doesn't seem worth it. Or yes, that does seem worth it. So,
well, do you want to talk about, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and then I read, so sometimes I book things numerous times. I'll book one. I always make sure that there's a free cancellation. I'll book it. I'll keep looking at the price. If it goes down, I'll like book it again, cancel it. I just do stuff like that all the time.
Oh, like the Sequoia Kings Hotel that,
Oh, yeah.
You rebooked like I'll go 6 times or something.
Yeah, and I'll go in there and they'll say something like, oh, the hotel's gone down by $10 a night or $20 a night. And I'm like, well, that's worth it. So I rebook it, cancel the old one. In this case, there's not a lot of hotels in South Dakota. Well, there's a lot in Sioux Falls. There's a lot in Rapid City. Everywhere else along I-90, there's just like randomness. So,
well, I know you mentioned, well, we saw it, but in Rapid City, there was this haunted hotel that you thought about getting.
Well, okay. So, in the Hilton points, they have the, it's the usual, the Hiltons, the Hilton Garden Inn, Hampton Inn, Embassy Suites, things like that. Then there was this one called the Hotel, like Alex Johnson, I think.
I think that's what it was called. Yeah, that sounds
right. And
it
said downtown Rapid City, and it was like I think it's the tallest building in Rapid City too.
I think so. Yeah, it was right in downtown.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this looks kind of cool. And I really don't like old hotels for the fact that I'm afraid of ghosts, and I always think there's going to be one there. And but I was like, well, whatever. So and this place had like a really good deal, and I thought, oh, that looks good. And then something just seemed like weird about it, so I looked it up. And I mean, it looks beautiful. It looks like a really nice, cool place. It's been there forever and all this. And then Hilton has bought it for one of their properties. But so I get on there, and then it starts talking about the 8th floor. I think I was looking at TripAdvisor, and it talked about the 8th floor and how it's super haunted and all this. So that automatically ruled that out.
Yeah.
But then when I went back on the site of just that hotel itself, it even like, I don't know. I don't know if all hotels advertise that they're haunted or whatever, but this one did. And it talked about, if you want to stay in the most haunted room, it's this, 812 or whatever. And I thought, well, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to be anywhere in that building. No. Thank you. So, I guess the first place I booked was in Rapid City, and that was oh my gosh.
Right, because we changed.
Yeah. So I, for a long time, had this place I was going to stay there. It was one of those new Home 2 suites, which we've stayed at one. We stayed one last summer somewhere. Anyway, I thought it was kind of a neat setup. It's sort of, well, I don't know. It's kind of funky, boutique-y, like an IKEA hotel, but I don't know.
So very much an IKEA, like IKEA looking furniture for sure.
Right. So I looked at that and I thought, oh, that was good. Oh, we stayed in one in Grand Junction, Colorado. That's right. So I thought, well, we could stay one. So I actually booked it, and it's connected to this Watiki water park.
Yes, which is just that big indoor water park, and lots of hotels were connected to it.
Yeah,
brands and stuff.
Yeah, so this was on there too, and I actually had probably the reservation for over a week. And then I was, just doing my normal cruising around the internet and looking at TripAdvisor, and then I started reading these reviews, and it just sounded awful, it's sad because normally I'd like to stay there, but it just sounded super unclean. And that was really what
this is the COVID era, so that's a big consideration.
Right. So, and I think we were gonna stay there for free with points, because so anyway, I started thinking, well, maybe not, maybe I'll spend money. So then we looked again and found this, under the Choice Hotels, we found a Comfort Inn and Suites, and it had the TripAdvisor,
the little seal that it gives it,
that little owl seal that they give. But it had even received it in 2020, which to me, I'm like, if you can receive
that's
that
a big
in
deal.
this year, then you've got to be a good deal.
Right.
So it said it was.
And that's where we ended up staying.
Yeah, that's where we stayed.
And then Waukoma, we didn't have much of a choice. We were trying to decide. We've got a story for later,
we'll talk
so stay
about that
tuned
later.
for that. But
so funny.
Yeah, we were we thought about staying in Rapid City, and then we ended up staying in Waukoma, which is right across the river from Chamberlain. Yeah.
Yeah. Chamberlain,
where the Owl's Oasis is.
Yeah. So anyway, so I booked. So actually, this trip ended up being all choice hotels.
Yes.
One night in Waukoma, which was a Quality Inn.
Yes.
And then the next 2 nights were in a Comfort Inn. So we ended up, not that anyone cares, but we ended up paying for these nights because I didn't have enough points. But maybe now we do because I paid for these and we get points based on that. Regardless, let's go on to our trip itself.
Okay, so let's get to the fun part, going into our actual trip.
Yeah.
So we had to leave later than we normally would, because on normal vacations, we're out of here by like 5 a.m.
Right. Yeah.
But Dad had to work, you had to work. So we left around 2:30 or 2-ish.
Probably. Yeah, I think I wanted to get out of here at 2. I think I had to work until 1:15.
Okay.
And so the goal was 2. We did make it right before 2.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Because I was we were like, oh, we're earlier than we projected to be. Okay.
Yeah, but only like 10 minutes. But hey, that's something.
Every little bit counts.
Exactly.
So yeah, we headed for up I-29.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's not a very eventful drive. And we've done it many times on the way to Omaha. So, I mean, there's nothing really to talk about. It is boring. I mean, you pass St. Joe and then you go down into the Missouri Valley and it's pretty much, the same scenery.
Yeah. The best part's when you start to see Omaha. That's always kind of cool.
Right. I always like to look for cities, see how far we can see them away and,
Right. In Omaha, you can see from pretty far because they've got some really tall.
Yeah. And it's pretty flat too. So it's not like you're obstructed by,
anything else.
Much of anything. And, I always look for the Desert Dome at the zoo,
All right. Stuff like that. So
yeah, that's kind of, that'll keep you entertained for a good 45 minutes as you're passing by.
Yeah, something like that.
And then you'll go through Council Bluffs and
and then we get up to Sioux City, which
and that's the first time we stopped. I was very proud of us.
Oh yeah, we did go real far without stopping.
Just right around the corner from Sioux City,
Yeah, that was kind of a sketchy little area, but
we pulled off. We had to get some gas. Dad had to go to the bathroom, and you and I had to go to the bathroom, but not that bad.
Not that bad.
In there.
I don't care. Well, here we are in COVID land, and here's all these people without masks, and I'm just like, all right,
I can hold it.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
So by this point,
I'd rather pee my pants than get COVID.
Right.
I don't know.
So by this point, we're starting to get hungry.
Yeah.
And there's this place in Sioux Falls. I always get Sioux City and Sioux Falls mixed up, but Sioux Falls is the one we're about to talk about now. So Mackenzie River Pizza. We had eaten there. We've eaten there in Rapid City before. And
Whitefish, Montana has one.
And was it Bozeman?
No, I thought it was Whitefish.
Well, no. We ate at one in Whitefish, but we also ate at one in Bozeman too.
Oh my gosh, we did. That's right. I forgot about that. Okay, so this place we've discovered over the past 3 years when we travel up that way.
From our glacier trip in 2018 that we've eaten there. We ate there last year when we went to Yellowstone.
I forgot about that. I didn't know we'd been to 3. Anyway, that's our new thing. That was the first
one we went to. It was the Bozeman place, and it was very good. So every time we're close to one, we like to eat it. Eat there. So We get to, and it's dark at this point.
Oh yeah.
We get to Rapid City, and
no, Sioux
that
Falls,
is the most
Jacob.
boring stretch of highway.
Yeah, we're in Sioux Falls, not Rapid City.
Oh yes, yeah, Sioux Falls. That is the most boring stretch of highway between Sioux City and Sioux Falls. I mean, just nothing. You know?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, that's how I remember it. But so, I mean, there wasn't much to look at again. But I mean, and we had gone through that stretch too. So, we get to Sioux Falls, and we're hangry at this point. You know, and there's of course one ways through the downtown, so it takes us a little bit to find a parking spot, and we get out,
and it's cold.
It was cold. It was very cold. I mean, you know, that's something to expect in December, of course.
Right, but it was really, it just felt really
cold and windy. And we should have anticipated this. It was a Friday night, and we get to the McKenzie place, and it's like a 50-minute wait.
Yeah, and but at first I thought she said 15, and then she goes 50, and I was like,
oh yeah. She held up her fingers like 50, and we're like, oh dear.
Oh no, not
so
1 5.
We're like, well, we need gas, and we might go to the Falls Park.
Yeah,
we decided, but so we went and got gas, but well, it took us a little bit to do that because the first place, that BP that we went to, the card readers weren't working.
Oh yeah.
Dad didn't want to go inside.
So if you don't know, Dad here, my husband, Jacob's dad, he was about to lose his mind.
we were all very, 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 very hangry.
Yeah, but he was like bad. So we get there, so he's getting the gas, and we've already like had to go to a second gas station, and he's like, so he's outside pumping the gas. Oh, we put our name in at the 50-minute place because we're like, well, we'll get gas and whatever. But time is creeping, and Dad is getting gas, and so Jacob and I just make this executive.
I decided that I coined the term. Well, we needed to de-escalate.
Oh yeah, Jacob's like, we need to de-escalate
the situation
like, for sure. And so there was right across the street was a Five Guys.
Yeah, just down the road. We're like, oh, Dad loves Five Guys. Let's go there. It'll be good. We're, you know,
right.
Five Guys is good anyway. So
when he got in, it was funny because when he got in the car, he was like, you could tell he was just fuming, and then. So Jacob was like, let's de-escalate this situation, which was super funny. And I hope you guys are laughing too, because it was funny and not just you had to be there thing. It was
right.
hilarious.
And then we drove to just down the street to the Five Guys.
Yeah. So we ate there. We de-escalated, and it was good.
Do you remember we got in there and there was this guy?
Oh, yes.
Just taking forever to order. And if you've been to Five Guys, there's not a lot of options. So it shouldn't take you too long to decide.
I know. It's like, do you want a single burger, a double burger, or a hot dog? I mean, I think that's really like it.
Yeah, like they don't have chicken sandwiches or anything like that.
The guy's like staring at the menu like, we're back behind him going, de-escalate.
Yeah, we were so hungry. We were all staring at him like, dude, you do not want to get between us and some food right now. Like,
right. But he was. But anyway, we got the food.
We finally ate.
Yeah.
It was very good because we were very hungry.
Yes.
And then
we went to Falls Park.
Well, do you want to kind of set up? Because I mean, this was winter time and it was almost Christmas, so you looked online.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Falls Park is where it's like this waterfall type thing. I mean, not like a huge waterfall.
No, but it's good. It's a good size.
Stair-stepping waterfalls like right through the middle of town.
Right, and that's what the town's named for. I'm gonna
say something dumb now. What river is it?
I think it's the Big Sioux River, if I remember.
Which is like, I don't even know what river it is. Anyway, but it's really neat. There's this park built up all around it. We had been there before in 2010, we realized, looking back at
Yeah, so
old
this is 10 years ago.
vacations.
So it's been a long time. I barely remember it.
And so when we were there the first time, it was daylight and all this. Well, Jacob and I had talked about how we wanted to go there again. But then, so I looked it up, and they had this whole winter wonderland scene, like lights in all the trees. The falls were lit. The falls are lit up at night, like with white lights, but now it was like red and
Colored
green lights and all this stuff. It was really neat.
It was cool looking.
So we get there, and there's tons of signs for it. I mean, it's probably the biggest attraction in
for sure
Sioux Falls, I would assume.
Yeah, definitely.
So we start driving, and we drive down this long road thing. Well, not long, but anyway, just everyone's going there, and it's kind of
right. Everybody
along.
and their brother is there, and it's
because it's a Friday night. It's like 8:00,
right?
And it's the week before Christmas, so we cruise down through there, and it's beautiful. And
the trees were all decorated. I forget. Oh my gosh, I cannot remember how. I think it was like 300,000 Christmas lights or something crazy.
Yeah, I think it said that. Yeah, it said that on their deal. So you kind of just had to drive through like a one-way thing and just follow along. But there were parking lots along the way, and the parking lots weren't. I mean, it wasn't like they were full. You would have thought they would have been, but I guess since it was so cold, people weren't getting out.
There were some places to park in those lots. Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So we did find one that we wanted to get out, and we walked, and then
right at the end, because it was just
right at the end.
Yeah. Just by that tall building, and
so anyway, we went over there, got out of the car, walked through the trees, and then came along to the falls, which was really neat because we went on this bridge that like crossed over the river, so then you could be head on with the falls and see it. And that was really nice.
It was very pretty. It was good to see it. It brought back some memories because I barely remembered it. And then I'm like, oh, I kind of remember this, like being on this bridge and
you remembered it. I was kind of like, I felt like I'd never been there before once I got out.
And then Dad was like, I hope this isn't a 5-footer. It's like, you've been here before.
I know. We kind of forgot. But anyway, it was cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did that.
And freezing still.
Oh, yeah, it was very cold.
And then, because the path kind of just meandered and cut through in a not very efficient way, so we just got off the path and went through the grass. We were so cold.
It was awfully cold.
We were like speed walking, and
we got there.
We were like, okay, we've had enough. And lots of people
we saw it was
exactly
cool. Very pretty.
So we get back in the car, and we head back to I-29 to go north just a little bit to I-90.
Right. And by this time, it's like 8:30 or something, and we have a good 2 hours ahead of us on I-90 in South Dakota at night. So there's not a whole lot to see.
Right.
Normally, if you drive across,
pretty.
and normally if you drive across South Dakota, you see all the wall drug signs. But we weren't seeing them because they're not lit up. They're not like
big.
Well, we saw some of them, but there are just many of them that are.
Some of them are farther from the road than others, so it's like not like your headlights are gonna light it up or.
Yeah, so we didn't see as many as we usually do. We probably missed the first 2,000 wall drug signs. But anyway.
Yeah, because I think the last time I counted, it was like 127 between here and Wall Drug that we saw, ish.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh. I don't remember.
So we passed by Mitchell. We didn't stop, but that's where the Corn Palace is. If if you're aware, or if you're kind of familiar with South Dakota.
Yeah.
And then we get to Chamberlain, which is where the Missouri River is. And we live kind of close to the river here.
Yeah.
But it is so
it's really something
wide.
To see up there.
I mean, it is spectacular. And on day 4, we'll stop at the Overlook.
Yeah.
And see it again. So we cross the river. You can hardly see it, but we know it's there.
Right.
And
then
so
right on the other side is
Wacoma, where we are staying.
OA.
Yes.
It's not WA, it's OA.
Oh yeah, because for the
Is
3
it
weeks.
Wacona or Wacoma? With an N or an M? I think it's N. Wacona. Anyway, I don't know.
Well, here, I've got my atlas right in front of me. Let me.
Okay.
Well, it's with an M.
Oh,
so
okay.
Wacoma. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
We get there. I was just to say, there's nothing to see there.
No.
It's dark.
There's a graveyard that we could see from our room. That was exciting.
Well, we saw the graveyard the next morning. See, there's another thing. I'm glad I didn't see that the night before. I would have been freaked out. That goes along with my being afraid of ghosts and graves.
Yes.
So anyway, we get this is the best. This is the best part.
I'm just laughing just thinking about it.
Just thinking about it. Okay. So we get out of the car.
Well, we pull. All right, the hotel's right off the exit. I mean, right off the exit. So
yeah, you basically get off the exit and drive right into.
How far did we drive? Or how long was it? Was it 7 hours?
Yeah, we were like 7 hours from home by this point.
Okay.
Yeah. So we roll in there. We get out. We have our stuff. We get out of the car. We go in, and of course it's 10:30 at night in Wacoma, South Dakota.
Yes.
And there's nobody there. Well, there's one lady there. She works there. Thankfully, she's there, but she's just kind of like blankly looking at us.
Well, she didn't even look at us when, normally you look up when somebody walks into the room and
yeah,
you say,
and you think
hi.
that you'd be like, oh yay, people are here. I have something to do, but no.
Yeah, she was just kind of staring at her computer and hello, and very
yeah.
Hi,
so
how are you?
Yeah, I walk up to her and I tell her, we have a reservation, and I'm thinking you probably know who we are, because
there's not a lot of people on the parking lot.
There's like nobody here, and it's 10:30 at night.
Right.
And so she was like clicking on her computer, and she is just like looking, and then she just is kind of looking down, and then she goes, am I telling this in the right order? I feel like
yeah.
She just all of a sudden she just goes, unfortunately.
And then doesn't say anything else.
And just that was it. Just like,
and gives us our room keys.
But I was like, unfortunately, what? Like,
what's the problem?
I don't know. And then she was like, and then she just suddenly just hands me, the little folder thing, and your room's on the second floor, and there's no elevator.
There's
blah,
no
blah,
elevator.
Blah, blah. Yeah. But anyway, I was just like, what? Okay, unfortunately, what? Like, it was like ... then nothing. And I'm looking, like, I look at Jacob and Dad, and I'm like, seriously? And so we get our key, we go around to the room, and then we were all like, what was that all about? Like, what was the unfortunately?
Yeah, so that became a running joke, and it still is.
It still is. It drives Dad crazy.
Very long after our trip, but you ask somebody,
like, yeah.
Oh, it was funny. What do you want for dinner? Well, unfortunately.
I
don't know if this sounds funny to you all, but it was sure funny to us.
That's what I'm like. I hope this translates well, because we think it's funny. In fact, like the whole next day we kept going, unfortunately. And then finally Dad was like, oh, that's enough. But we still think it's funny.
Oh yeah, we every joke like that, we will nail it into the ground. We will keep beating that dead horse. And
it's pretty funny. But anyway, so unfortunately we're not sure what. Anyway, that was fine. So but yeah, we went upstairs and went to sleep, because we'd had 7 hours of car.
Right.
And I don't like to drive when it's dark.
Yes, I don't like being in the car. And that was somewhat unique with us, is because we normally don't do that. I mean, or maybe in the morning when the sun is rising.
Right.
But we normally don't drive at night when it's late.
I don't like that. But anyway, unfortunately, yeah. Okay, so
we had a good night's sleep, though.
Yeah, we did, actually. Being
I think
that
just
close
because
to
we
the
were so
highway.
tired.
Yeah.
So
So
okay,
yeah,
so
so
well
that was day one.
that's day one.
Yay. All right. We did it one day. Now we're in the middle of South Dakota.
Okay, so day two. This was fun.
Yeah.
So we get
Yeah,
up.
we
This is a
woke
good
up
day.
to the lovely walk home.
The graveyard.
Yeah, that's where I saw. So, I talked about how I'm like afraid of ghosts and things.
Yes.
So we woke up and looked out the window because when we had gotten there the night before, it was pitch black. And luckily it was, because there was a graveyard right across the street. And I was like, I think there's a graveyard over there. And
yeah.
So anyway, we quickly got out of there.
Yeah, I mean, this was basically
not because of the graveyard, just because we had other things to do.
No, I mean, we were there less than 12 hours. We weren't.
Yeah, it was basically just this little stopover place. We didn't like eat or anything.
Well, you guys had breakfast, didn't you?
Oh, well, we had breakfast there. We just had breakfast in the hotel.
Yeah,
but
Dad
no,
thought it was awful.
It was kind of awful.
Yeah, I remember him like coming out. Well, that sucked.
Well, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Especially with COVID, I hate to like judge somebody's breakfast stuff. I mean,
that's very true.
I mean, it was fine. I don't like to, I don't know. I just figure places are doing the best they can right now. And so that's okay. And I mean, It's just a random Comfort Inn, or I'm sorry, Quality Inn along the highway. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the food was edible, and it was just like a grab and go kind of situation. So anyway, nothing earth shattering. It was fine.
So we get in the car and we go west on I-90. And then, so we're going to Badlands, and then keep in mind there's a time change. So we fall back an hour.
Yeah, which was good because we needed an extra hour, I think.
Yeah. And also, this is December 20th, I believe. So we don't have a lot of daylight to work with. I mean, these are the shortest days of the year.
Right.
So, I mean, we kind of had to keep on rolling along. So, a couple hours. I don't really remember much from this drive, but we get to Badlands, and we take a sign picture.
Right. This is what, our third time at Badlands?
I think so. We've been here quite a few times.
This is one of our oddly enough, it's like one of the ones that we've been to,
besides Rocky Mountain, just because we lived in Denver.
Right. But so we've been to Badlands. I believe this is our third.
I think so. I think that's right. So the past two times we've just, well, I'll get to that. So we, got out, took a sign picture by, every national park has a sign that you can take a picture with, which, I love to do.
Right.
I always make them stop, stop, here comes the sign.
No, I think it's fun too. So we did that.
And each sign is unique, with something about the park. So it's kind of fun to pull over.
Yeah.
So we went in the northeast entrance. And we like to stop at the Big Badlands Overlook. Because
that's like the first.
That's the first thing you see. It's right to the left, And it was been very busy the past two times, but December we were the only ones there. So
yeah, it was crazy because usually there's, you're kind of like circling for parking. There's all these people. There's like, you walk along this boardwalk and then you just come up and
I mean, it's a short little boardwalk. It's nothing much that.
Yeah, but there's always just a bazillion people around. So we came up on that, and I think there was one other
car, and they were leaving.
Yeah. So we were the only people there, which was just completely nuts.
It was nice. So we got out, took some pictures.
Yeah.
It was windy.
Oh, very. And it was cold. But
it was cold. Yeah, but it's December,
Yeah. That's
and
okay.
I love this overlook. It is one of the best in the national park system. I mean,
it's kind of weird
it,
and
it,
kind of
it
cool.
is it is very strange. These, if you don't know what the Badlands are, you should look up a picture of them. They're basically just eroded hills, and they just create these weird looking rock formations. I mean, they're really cool. Some people would call them ugly in a good way, which, I mean, yeah, that's kind of a good way to describe it.
Yeah. And the thing about the Badlands, like I've never been a huge fan of them. I'm like, oh, whatever. But this time, I don't know, there was just this was probably our best trip to.
Oh, I think so.
I mean, so it was neat. So we went on, we went to the visitor center.
That's right. And the lady said we were the 18th people there, like the Yeah, so go in the winter
crazy.
if you don't like people.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy because usually there's, 18 families between you and the, whatever. And this time we were the only.
Yeah, and I got my park stamp, which that's where I bought my parks passport. If you don't know what that is, it's just a little book that you can get at every national park site. And there's a stamp at each site that you just, you put it in there, and it has different regions and stuff. And this is where I bought mine, and I did a bad job. It was my first stamp, and I kind of moved too much, and it looked kind of bad. So I was looking forward to trying it again, and then the ranger had to do it because of COVID. And then she didn't do a great job either. So
she didn't. Oh, I don't think I saw that. That's
so
funny.
I'll have to, I'll have to go back there again and try. Third time's the charm.
Right. Well, so okay, so after we went to the visitor center and we told the ranger that we were looking for a hike, right? Did we tell her? Did we already know what we were going to do?
Well, we knew we were going to do the Notch Trail because I remember you were anticipating.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so never mind. But sometimes we ask the rangers like, "Hey, here's our skill
I
level."
did that. I did that in Jewel Cave, and we'll talk about that in the next episode about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this ranger wasn't. The rangers are very good, but some of them, of course, are just not.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this she was just very,
Oh, yeah.
She wasn't thrilled to see us. She was much more comfortable with the rocks and nature.
Oh, she did want to talk a lot, but yeah, that's okay.
So we went to the Notch Trail, which, just kind of describing it. So it goes through the Badlands, and it's not very even ground. Well, it starts off even, like you're just kind of walking into this little canyon, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And then you go up this ladder, and it's not like a vertical ladder. It kind of curves up.
Yeah.
And then you go along this notch, and it's basically this big wall next to you, and then a cliff on the other side. And that's just like the notch in the trail, and hence why it's called the Notch Trail. And it leads to this. What?
See, I didn't even get that from that. I was like, I was just about to say, I don't know why they call it the Notch Trail, but apparently you do. I didn't get that, but whatever. But that's just me.
The cliff doesn't last the whole time. Then it kind of just picks up, and then. I mean, you're not going to have too much. If you're afraid of heights, this isn't too bad.
No, this isn't bad.
So we start off, it's nice and even, and then we get to the ladder. And you were dreading this.
I was, because I don't really, I'm kind of a wuss, and I just am not good at anything that requires much I don't know, I could walk and walk and walk all day, but then
we do. I mean, we go on walks all the time.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that. But then if it's like climbing or using any sort of upper body strength, I just freak out because it's not something that I've got much of. So I was worried about this ladder. It ended up being sort of okay.
Going up it is easier.
Yeah, going up was way easier than coming down.
And you went first. You're like, I'm gonna do this. Here we go. Well, yeah. And then you went, yeah.
Yeah, it was okay.
And I took a picture of you going up.
Yeah, which was exciting for me because I just was like, look, let's
look what I'm doing. So we made it up okay.
Yeah, and we hiked and it was fine. It wasn't really long. What was it, like a mile and a half total or something?
Yes, I think that's what the advertised. I measured on my GPS watch. It was like 1.6, so close. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we get to the top of the ladder, and the ladder is actually kind of the easy part. The terrain is a little rough.
Yeah.
So we're going along the notch, and then we see the sign, and it's like, what did it say? It was like dangerous cliff, keep right.
Oh yeah,
we did. You kind of had to scramble a little bit over some rocks and then come back down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just kind of like, you're following these little sticks in the ground.
Yeah.
You can obviously see where you're gonna go. I mean, the canyon.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It's like,
but this was the farthest into the Badlands we've ever gone.
Right. I mean, we've usually just climbed around at that one parking lot.
Yeah.
But this is like an actual hike. So
yeah. So
then we made it to our overlook, which is very pretty.
Yeah, it was neat.
You could kind of see where the Badlands, it's kind of strange. They just kind of like morph back into the plains, and then there's, just farmland again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is very strange.
Right.
You could see the visitor center from up there. It was a great view. And then we stood up there for a little bit, and then we started to make our way back.
Right.
And on the way back, you and I were kind of together, and Dad was monkeying around.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, shh. And it's just, in a national park, you don't hear anything except for like the wind, or birds maybe. And it was, oh my gosh.
Water, if there's water. Yeah.
Right. And just living in a city, there is noise all the time. It is never quiet like that. So that's one of my favorite things in a national park is just, sit and don't make any noise for a minute. And it is crazy how quiet it is.
Oh yeah, it was super quiet. And then like we were saying, there was just nobody around. I mean,
right. And that definitely helped. Yeah.
The whole time we hiked on this thing, we probably saw like maybe like 3 or 4 groups. I mean,
yeah.
just when
they started coming after we got there. Yeah. We were like the first group, and then after a while,
yes,
some other groups came down. So then, we go back past the dangerous cliff sign and
back down the ladder,
the ladder. That was a little more difficult.
That took me a while.
Yeah.
So
at one point,
I did.
At one point, I thought you're just kind of holding there, and I thought you were gonna say, "I'm just gonna stay here a minute."
Well, I kind of did say that in my head because I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is."
Give me a second. Well, because the rungs, is that what they're called? The rungs of the ladder.
Yeah, which are made out of like
wood, and there's cable connecting them.
Yeah, they were. It was like almost like railroad ties.
Yeah, I mean, right. That's a good way.
It was like it wasn't so. I mean, it was thick wood, of course, because I also can't imagine like being there with like during the summer or when there's I don't know how
people
many
people like pressuring you on this to trail. Go up.
But yeah, like I was so glad that when we were going up, and both times that we went up and down, that there wasn't someone, like another group standing there being like,
that hello. One group was kind of getting close, and I was thinking, but.
No, I know, because I would have had to wait
them. So I mean,
right.
It was okay.
Yeah, so it was good. And
beautiful. So we made it back to the car.
Yeah.
And then
we went on the same exit.
On the same
exit. Yeah, you can talk about this because I still don't know what it was. That's just because it was kind of like a museum, and I don't do museums. Anyway.
Except for the Lincoln Museum in Springfield.
I know the Lincoln Museum in Springfield, Illinois is fantastic. But other than that, okay, go on. You can talk about this part.
So on the same exit of the northeast entrance of Badlands, just across I-90, there's this Minuteman National Historic Site. So this is also administered by the National Park Service. So I was able to get another stamp. I had seen it before, but we'd never stopped. But this time we did. So we went in there, and basically what this is they've got, from the Cold War, they have these missile silos just out in the plains, scattered everywhere. And this is, they've preserved a few of these that you can actually go and visit. So there's the Delta 9 missile, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. That's right off the road. And there's another one, it might be Delta 3, if I remember, where you can actually go and see where the people who had manned this missile silo would go down and where the rockets would be launched, essentially. And it was really interesting because you always hear in school about the Cold War, and you read about it, and mutually assured destruction. And it was like, this is kind of cool that you get to see it in person. You know what I mean?
No.
So
no, it was, there's something about, I don't know, and I can't even explain what it is, but sometimes there's just things that the only explanation I have is like not interested. And I know that's really weird because this is something that I should be interested in. In fact, when Jacob's talking about it, I'm sitting here thinking, well, that does sound kind of cool. But I got there, but I don't know. I'm just weird about certain things. Like I don't know. This was not something that I was super pumped to see. But we did go through this like little museum.
Yeah, there's a little museum in the visitor center, like there are for most national park visitor centers, and it
was fine.
Explains the Cold War a little bit, and then where it talks about the Minuteman missiles.
So we were looking at these in this the museum. Well, there was like a cake that was made.
It was a picture of these two guys, and it was just, you explain it.
Well, it was just like a picture of these people who had this cake made to look like a nuclear bomb was going off.
A mushroom cloud.
A mushroom. Okay, so maybe not. Whatever.
I
was like, what a cool cake. And then
it was kind of funny, but kind of not.
Well, I know. So then they made me feel bad for like thinking that it was a cool cake. But I was just like,
well, it was kind of a cool cake. I don't know how they did that, but
I don't know either. It was kind of neat. So I was like, oh, what a cool cake. And then Jacob and Dad are like,
Dad was the one who was like, no, it's not. This is
this is serious. Why are you laughing at this cake? And I'm like,
which it is a very serious thing, but it's like, okay, why would you make a cake like that? And all right, anyway, we're getting off topic. So we went through that, and it was kind of showing where the missiles would go over the North Pole and into the Soviet Union. And it was very interesting. So along the road, I-90, there was the Delta 9. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's what I said. It's like exit 116. So it's not very far from Wall Drug, which we'll get to in a minute here. So we drove further down I-90, and then we pulled off, and it was just like, maybe a minute off the road.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to say is, for if you're not understanding this, that there's like, there's this museum little deal that's across from the Badlands, and then but the missile isn't at this place. You have to drive further, but it's only like, but the missile was only like, I don't know, 10 minutes away or something.
It did not take very long. So it's at a separate little site.
Yeah, and that was totally random.
It was. And that's kind of what it was meant to be. It's like hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
And then you just pull over, and I don't know how many times we've driven by this and we didn't know that they're, a
Well, I've seen
nuclear.
the thing that says Minuteman thing, but I'm like,
Yeah,
I
and
don't know what that
that
is.
there's a nuclear warhead just off the road. Well, it doesn't have the actual warhead in it anymore, but so you pull off and you go to this little parking lot, and it explains some more about the missile. And then you walk on this short little path to this fenced in area. And it kind of looks like you're not supposed to go in there. I mean, you can. I mean,
yeah,
it's for visitors to visit, but it kind of looks like, oh, should I be here? Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So then you go, and then there's this big door for the silo, and it's glass, and you look in it, and there's a missile.
Yeah, and you look down in it. It's like down under the ground, but like pointing upward like a big rocket.
Right. I mean, like, and it went pretty deep too.
It did, and it was crazy because I was all doing my thing that I do, and then we get out, and then Jacob and Dad are like looking down in there, and then they're like, "Come look at this," and then I was just like, "Well, whoa!" That's when I suddenly was like, "Well, this is super cool." There's this, I mean, again,
crazy,
not cool because it's a missile, but
yeah, right.
I mean, interesting that there is just a missile right here, like in this glassed-in thing. So.
Yeah, and then they had a diagram of how how they would launch the missile, and how the doors would open. You could see the tracks behind it.
Yeah,
it was very interesting. And so we stayed there for a few minutes, took some pictures. So then we go to Mom's favorite part of the day.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Wall Drug.
That's not really my favorite part of the day, but this place, it's the most craptacular destination on earth.
Well, I say it's the most famous tourist trap in America.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But
if you go through South Dakota on I-90, you're gonna know about Wall Drug.
Yeah, so you just kind of have to stop there, and we haven't been there. We
10 years.
We had driven through there a few times, and I'm always like, "Oh, let's go to Wall Drug," and then no one ever wants to. But this time we did, and it was again another good time to be in Wall Drug because there's nobody there.
Was there.
And that another thing is, I kind of was like, well, if I'm gonna get COVID, I'm gonna get it at Wall Drug because it's fairly nasty. But
well, I mean, Wall Drug is, if you don't know, it's just a series of little stores. Well, it's a big place altogether, and they've got weird sculpture things. There's that big jackalope that you got on, and we recreated some pictures.
You can get on it. It's just silly.
Yeah.
So, and they have these advertisements for like 5-cent coffee, free ice water, free donuts for honeymooners. You know, just goofy
different
stuff,
things.
And so it's so we went, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get some coffee.
Recreated some pictures. There's they've got some statues sitting on benches, and
so some stuff that the last time we were there was 10 years ago. So we did
from a decade ago. I mean, it was kind of fun to see then stuff. And now. So it was kind of a fun. You got some coffee.
Yeah, I got some 5-cent coffee, which wasn't the worst coffee I've ever had.
Yeah. Well, you were worried it was going to taste like an actual nickel.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought. It was going to be like
for
a nickel
5 cents.
boiled in. Yeah, maybe like what happens if you boil a nickel and it's really dirty, and then you drink it.
And we got some donuts too.
Yeah, we did get some donuts, and those were good. And they have like a full-on restaurant in there, but I
got some sunglasses, and you got
sunglasses. Oh, you get a free bumper sticker.
Yeah. If you purchase something, you get a free bumper sticker.
Oh, you had to buy something?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we did that. Then we got out of there. We weren't there for that long.
No, we weren't. It was just kind of let's relax a bit after our hike. And so then we headed into Rapid City, which is like 40 minutes away.
Yeah, I guess.
It doesn't take too long to get there. After
Uh-huh.
Wall Drug, you can start to see like the top of Black Elk Peak, which is the tallest peak in the Black Hills. And that's always fun when you're coming close to the mountains and just getting closer and you see more and more of it. So, when we toured the school or drove around the school that I was looking at, South Dakota School of Mines, and then we went to downtown and ate at, where did we eat? The Firehouse. Yeah, the Firehouse Brewery thing.
Yeah, and that's another place we'd been. That's another one that you see like lots of signs for when you're driving.
Yes.
But we'd eaten there the last time we were in Rapid City, which was a long time ago, and it is good. So we ate there. We checked into our hotel, which was a Comfort Suites, which it was really nice, and it was kind of in a more Rapid City's not really that big, but it was more in a not really in the downtown area, but there were
like 60,000 people, so it's a decent sized town.
Yeah. So the hotel was just, I don't know, it was in a good location right by the highway, and
it was very convenient.
Yeah. So we checked in there. Then it got dark.
Yeah. Well, the food at Firehouse was good.
Yeah.
I had my first bison burger. I had never had one before.
Oh yeah, which I love those, but I don't think I had one.
No, you didn't. You had something that you thought was just okay. Or I mean, you thought it was good, but
yeah.
Underwhelming. I don't remember what you had.
But that's all right. Oh, I had a blue cheeseburger, or a cheeseburger with like blue cheese and
oh, right.
Onion, whatever, I can't think right now. But anyway, usually that's one of my favorite things. So that was good. But so while we're there, we kind of start talking about how we love to see Mount Rushmore at night.
Right.
And
well, before that, we went outside and looked at some of the presidents.
Oh yeah.
So we went Rapid City is called the City of Presidents. It's got statues of up to Obama right now of all the presidents. So we stopped at the John Adams one because that's Dad's favorite, the FDR one, and then I didn't know where the Truman one was, but that's your favorite.
Well, I just say he's my favorite president because he's from Missouri, but
right. Anyway. So that was kind of fun. I mean, it's cool to see those. And they
so that's downtown Rapid City. Like every corner has a different president, and it's not like, and they're like doing things like in their well, some of them are just standing there, but then like
FDR was giving his it looked like it was the date which will live in infamy speech. John Adams was just standing there.
And then the Harry Truman, I've had my picture with him before, and he's like, it's him with the newspaper, the Dewey Defeats Truman newspaper.
Right.
So that's kind of funny.
And the Obama one is him walking with Sasha or Malia, one of the two. And that they put like different things on the statues. This is kind of some of them had masks, some of them had stocking caps, and that was kind of funny. So then we go up to Mount Rushmore, and it's dark by this point because one of the shortest days of the year. I love driving up to Mount Rushmore. Like it's just exciting. So, I mean, you get to so we're driving through and you're passing by the reptile gardens and that presidential museum and stuff like that. And you're getting closer.
I'm always lost whenever we're there. I never know where I am.
Yeah. And then we get to Keystone, which is the little town just outside where the National Memorial starts. And this place is always packed. I mean, it takes forever to get through there. You've got people because there's crosswalks everywhere. you know, people in traffic, and it's just like, ugh. But we go through this time, and we were
There's
the only
nobody.
3 people there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was strange, but
Mm-hmm.
it was nice. We got through it quickly. And then you
Right.
turn a corner, and if you kind of know where Mount Rushmore is and where to look, you can see it
Yeah.
briefly. It's like your first glance at it. And then you start going up in elevation, and then you really start seeing it from the side.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we always get excited every time we see it
Yeah,
because
Mount
it's just,
Rushmore is spectacular.
it is spectacular. So
Yeah.
uh, I'm laughing already about.
Oh, well,
So
we've been to Mount Rushmore like 4 times
yeah,
prior to this.
yeah, 3 or
Three or
4.
four. Like, and
So
we'll even go through. I mean, we'll be in the Black Hills and we'll go to Mount Rushmore like twice or two, or even, I don't know.
yeah,
It's not
well,
like
we
we
did
just go
this time. We
once.
went twice this time.
Yeah, we went twice this time. Every time we're there, we go like twice
I
just
mean, yeah,
because.
you just got to see it. It's awesome.
Yeah, you see it, and then we go and do something else, and then we're like, hey, let's go back to Mount Rushmore. That was fun. So we do. But
So we get to the parking lot, and it was free because of it was just kind of later and off
yeah,
season. And this
yeah,
is the best parking lot in America.
it truly is.
I mean,
They know
it's
what they're
so
doing.
organized. You know, when there's
Mhm.
people there, I think it's $10 to get in there, so not too bad per
And they say
car.
the money. They say the money is for parking. They're like Mount Rushmore is free. You pay to park, but it's
Yeah.
$10. And then I thought it lasted a week, but this time the thing that I got, I swear it says a year, like that I can go back
Oh,
there for a
yes, because
year.
we kept that receipt in case we need to
Yeah.
use it. So they
Well,
tell
yeah.
you which like thing to go to. There's like 3 different lanes, and then Dad had to have fun in the snow.
All right, because
Yeah, he kind
yeah,
of fishtailed it through this
yeah,
patch
which
of snow because
mhm,
you know that's what
that's
you
what he does.
do when you're at Mount Rushmore.
I guess. Right.
um, so we parked and we go up, and it's dark.
Pitch black.
You'd think there would be lights, you know, because we're
Yeah.
crossing a road. Like if a bus tour were to come up, and
Yeah. And had we not been there before, I think we would have been like,
yeah,
what?
concerned.
Like we
But
wouldn't have even not known where to go. But since we've been there before, we were like, okay, we know it's right over here.
so,
We
but what was
know.
happening was the entire front, and they've been working on this for a long time, redoing the floor or the ground.
Hmm.
Um, they've been doing this since 2019, I think.
Yeah, I
So,
don't know.
but this time they are working on the front entrance, and there was just no light, and I was like, where the heck? And there's like
Yeah.
porta potties sitting in front of it. It's super weird. So
Yeah.
we go to the, like, I can see something, there's like a potential path, and you go to the left, and there's just this like pitch black trail that goes past the around the construction and up to the main
And we
walk
can see that
area.
people are up there. That's the thing. We're like, okay, it had it been like nobody, we would have maybe gotten back in the car,
Yeah, I mean, we
but
felt
we could
like
tell.
we were breaking into Mount Rushmore. So
Okay.
we found this trail, you know, and we said we felt like we were breaking in.
Yeah.
But there's other people there, so we weren't.
Right.
But it was just like you'd think there would be light,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Right.
So we get to the visitors, you know, the not the visitor center, the gift
The gift
shop.
shop. Which
Yeah.
was funny because the gift shop's opening. It's open. There's people in there, and nobody's like, "Hey, isn't this weird?" I mean, it was just like a normal day
Yeah.
at the visitor center or at the gift shop. But anyway,
So we made our
so
way to the Grand View,
uh-huh.
which it's, oh my gosh, I just could stare at it at the monument all day. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. And you know, the common complaint I hear is, oh, you know, it's smaller than I thought it would be.
Well, it's
It's
not
just, I
really.
mean, because you're far away, Yeah, but these heads are 60 feet tall.
Yeah.
Carved out of a mountain. Like, that's impressive.
It is.
And there's not one, but four. I mean, so Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Lincoln. And it's just, it's so awesome. And the lights, it was dark, so the lights were shining on them. They don't have the little lighting ceremony like they would in the summer.
Yeah, we've been to that before too, which is kind of neat. But yeah, it's just really something to see. And then if you're there at, during the day, go watch the little movie about it, because that's really cool.
And we had seen it before, so Tom Brokaw narrates it, I think.
Yay.
And I could listen to him talk all day.
Me too. So
so we went to the gift shop and kind of looked around in there.
Yeah, and then I had to go to the bathroom, and I asked, and the guy was like, "Well, there's those porta potties outside. Like, that's the only bathroom
that's the only bathroom right now."
And I'm like, "Okay, now who loves to do that? No one." But then when it's pitch black, you really don't.
Right, and these are the porta potties that are out by the road that you can't even see because it's super dark.
Yeah, so I did use that, and then Dad had to hold the door open a tiny bit for me and just leave the flashlight on the
so she could see
the cell phone on, so I could sort of see.
Yeah.
Although you don't really want to see in a porta potty, but you also don't want to accidentally not see in a porta potty. So it was kind of like the best
finding the balance.
Bad world, right? There was a balance of that. So anyway, that was a good time.
So we get back in the car and head back.
Yeah.
And it's like 6 o'clock or 5.
Was it really? Because
it was so early. And it's just midnight. Like, well,
yeah.
I mean, it's dark. You can't really do anything. So we just went back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And
which was fine. But
hung out.
That's just funny that you're saying it was 6 o'clock, because I guess it was, but it felt like
because then our time changed too. So
right, that's true. But it was so dark and so bizarre that it didn't seem like. Yeah, but anyway, a good time.
So then we just kind of relaxed in our hotel.
And this was a nice place.
It was. We slept comfortably. You had a bit of a problem with the room key. I think it was just kind of sensitive.
Oh yeah, I did.
Like Dad and I were able to get it to work. Well, it took me a couple times, but
yeah, but that's okay. That's
it may have been just our room, but
yeah,
it wasn't a huge deal.
No.
So that ends day 2, and that is going to wrap up our first episode.
Oh, yay!
We did it!
Yay!
So, so that ends our discussion. We hope you'll join us at some point. I'll, look at Instagram, look at Twitter. We'll let you know when the next episode comes out as we kind of get this figured out a little bit.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. So remember, go out and see the world. And thanks for listening.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Say bye. Bye.
Bye. I said bye.